The Washington Post is reporting President Trump has reached out to Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, asking him for help in overturning the results of the 2020 presidential election in his state. Now, Governor Kemp confirmed part of the reported conversation via Twitter, saying, quote, "As I told the president this morning, I've publicly called for a signature audit 3 times to restore confidence in our election process and to ensure that only legal votes are counted in Georgia." As the president and his legal team continue to battle the outcome of the election, President Trump is set to host a rally in Georgia this evening. He hopes his visit to the Peach State will provide a spark for the Republican Party ahead of January's hotly contested Senate runoffs. However, there are rumblings within the Republican Party the president's presence could actually hurt their chances of holding the Senate majority ahead of next month's vote. CBS News campaign reporter Tim Perry is in Valdosta, Georgia, where President Trump is set to host his campaign rally this afternoon. There's been discussion about whether the president's trip to Georgia today is good or bad for the Republican Party. What are you hearing there on the ground before he gets there?
So when you talk to his supporters, especially here on the ground, they couldn't care less, to be completely honest. They're excited to see him. Every time you ask, why are you here today? They all say the same exact thing, to see the president. And they're all expecting to see another 4 years from him at the presidential race. But as you mentioned, what you don't hear so often are talks about the races below. And that's going to be very key for the Republican Party going forward, is, getting these people who are super excited about the President Donald Trump, to have that same level of enthusiasm for the Republicans come January.
And Tim, I'm sure the people there have heard the president's claims of widespread fraud in Georgia's election. However, he's traveling there to urge Republicans to get out and vote in January. How is that message being received?
It's actually being received somewhat well from his supporters. Again, they are here to see him. And if he tells them to vote for these 2 senators who will be campaigning with them, they will do just that. But again, just in the same story as it was for the general election, he already has the people that are here at this event. And it's about turning out some of those Republican voters who might want to sit home when they hear, rhetoric of him saying that he will not accept the results of the election, which he has not so far.
Tim, do the people you've spoken with, do they seem eager for January 5th so they can go out and vote? Or are they there to kind of be won or swayed by the president?
To be completely honest, as I said before, they're here for Donald Trump. And when you start asking them about the Senate races, they will say, we plan on voting Republican, but their excitement is with Donald Trump. And so, again, the priority for Republicans going forward is, how do we switch that enthusiasm for the 2 senators who are actually on the ballot come January? Because right now, what I'm not hearing from a lot of the voters out there is a whole lot of enthusiasm for the 2 senators that are actually on the ballot come January.
That being said, the Biden-Harris ticket swung Georgia blue for the first time in nearly 3 decades. So is the president being there and lending his support on the campaign trail, is that going to be enough for Republicans to maintain control of the Senate, meaning enough for them to possibly win those 2 races?
I think when you talk to Republicans in the party here in Georgia, they say that, they like their chances still because, as you said, this is not a presidential race. And if you look at some of the races, including John Ossoff, who's running against Senator Perdue, who will be here later today, he actually ran behind Joe Biden in his race back in November. And so Democrats, even with the president being here, even if it turns some voters off who are ready to look past November's results, Democrats still have a very steep challenge ahead of them to catch up to Republicans, because even though they flipped the state blue in November at the presidential level, the state is still a pretty red state, and it's going to be a major, major hill for them to flip those 2 seats come January.
Now, we know those people are there to hear the president, but what do Republican voters need to hear from the 2 Republican senators in order to make sure that they vote for them in January?
based off of the conversations that I've had with the voters out behind me, they want full support of the president. And what you've kind of seen so far in the weeks after the election is just that. You mentioned the Washington Post article in the lead-in. You know, the Republican Party is walking a very delicate line in supporting the president as he continues to make unsubstantiated claims about voter fraud. And what a lot of the voters out there want to hear is just that. You know, the two senators need to stand behind the president and, you know, let them know that they have his back when it comes to challenging the results of the election, especially here in Georgia.
Well, I'm sure it will be an interesting night there in Valdosta, Georgia. Tim Perry, we want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.